Hello, how is everybody doing tonight? Technical issues already. So let's see if I don't think we're getting any audio. Hello, how is everybody? There we go. So, yes, you try something new, you add new stuff to the stream, and of course, you're going to have technical issues. That is the story of my life when it comes to streaming. There's always a technical issue. And unlike on Twitch, I have a testing channel just so it prevents myself from doing this. So, a little bit of an interruption there, but we are good to go now. Hey, how is everybody doing tonight? Welcome to the not scheduled, because there's never going to be a schedule for this. I'm just going to do it as of right now. I'm just going to pop up whenever I can. That's why you got to keep an eye on the socials. It's Nash Thunderclap. And welcome to a Saturday night stream, April 26, 2025. Tested out a new opening. Just wanted to see what everybody thought about that. Just plop that into the chat. It's not very good. I'm only proud of a little bit of it because I actually had to do some I had to go in and actually do some editing, some special effects, which is something I'm not used to doing on these clips because I typically just edit. I don't throw little things in there. But I'm very proud of it. I'm very proud of it. But it's not very good. I already know that. But as time goes, we'll modify it, adapt it. We'll add more stuff to it as the lore keeps going. But yes, welcome to the third live stream on youtube.com/@NashThunderclapLive. And boy, oh boy, it seems like I am always exclusively talking about Switch 2 stuff. But that's what's been in the news lately, and that's what's been interesting to me because it has been 2 weeks ever since they announced the pre-order dates of nothing but still everybody talking about the Switch 2. Whether it's stuff that we're finding out about the game cards or the game key cards or whatever they're called, to the mess with the pre-orders, which that's what we're going to talk about. That's going to be our main topic for tonight. We're going to talk about it at the end. And then do some other stuff from there, the actual mess on the pre-orders, and then just new information as it comes along. But we've got other topics as well. We're going to do like a kind of a quick hit on some of the other topics tonight. Going to talk about some stuff that's been going on with me, especially something I want to bring up to with a weird thing that I've never seen before on my binary domain playthrough. And by the way, that's on @NashThunderclap. That's my game channel. So that's everything that I stream goes to that for VOD. Yes, and don't forget, you can follow me on Kick. You can subscribe to me on Twitch. And I run those live every other night or so. Schedule for that is always up in the air as well. But I hope everybody's had a really good weekend so far. I know weather down here has been nice, sunny, and hot with a smidge of rain. But we keep going as we're going. And there's nothing like at this point, I'm going to welcome everybody into the chat whenever they decide they want to jump in and whatnot. I think the little hiccup probably threw everything off. But, at this point, this is going to be one of those find and see kind of things. So if it comes up, people can come in and watch it. And then they can make their opinion. Again, as a reminder, excuse me, if you can make it past my voice, my speech patterns, and my brain lockups, I appreciate you and thank you for that. All right, so let's just go ahead and get like a pre-show kind of thing out of the way and just talk about what's been going on my end. Some stuff that's just um, really irritated me. Thursday was awful, and I'll tell you why. So the plan Thursday, and I covered this on my Twitch streams, Twitch and Kick streams, that Thursday I had to go get some work on my car done. And the idea was I'd go early enough, get that taken care of, and then I was going to go to my only GameStop because I only have one GameStop in this town now, whereas at one point we used to have 5 in this town, and now it's down to 1. And I was just going to go in there and just see how the GameStop pre-orders were going because I had figured with what had to be done, which wasn't anything major to my car, I'd be there for about maybe 2 hours. Scratch my eye real quick. 2 hours. Just in and out, something simple. But fast forward 6.5 hours later, I was still stuck at the dealership. So I didn't get a chance to go to the GameStop because by the time I got done, I had to go home and get ready for my social outing for the night because Thursdays are my social outings. But pretty much, it just boiled down to they were shorthanded. They didn't say anything about it. Which, if they would have said that when I got there, I would have made an arrangements to take a shuttle to go down to where the GameStop was and hang around there, ask for the shuttle to come pick me up, back up, and wait at the dealership. But they kept hanging on you, and I couldn't get an update on what was going on in my car until about 6 hours. But they did have enough time to call me in the waiting room, to try and put in an appointment for my service inspection, which is a lot of bunk because a lot of the stuff I can do on my own. And they had time to send me two text messages saying that they had completed an appraisal on my car and to go see an agent to talk about a trade-in. They had time to do that. It wasn't until hour 6 I had to go up to somebody and say, "Hey, what's going on with my car? Can I get an update on it?" So they looked it up, and they said, "Well, they're still working on it." I said, "Okay," because I've been here about 6.5 hours, and the look on their face was like, what did you come in for?" I told them to come in for an oil change and a wheel alignment. And they said, "Well, did you make an appointment?" I said, "Yes, I made an appointment." And I said on the appointment that I was going to be waiting in the waiting area because I didn't think it was going to take that long because I've had those done before and they didn't take that long. So they directed me to, I guess, the agent that was in charge that had my that was assigned to my car. Went in there and I said, and I just asked him, and nothing against him, was not his fault. I walked in. He's like, "Hey, how you doing? What can I do for you?" And I said, "Yeah, I've been sitting here for 6.5 hours. What's going on with my car?" He's like, "What?" And he goes, "Let me find out." So he goes, he finds out. He said, "Yeah, they're doing one more thing to your car and they're finishing up." And I overheard another agent that was in the same room who was getting blasted on the phone, I think for the same issue, what was going on with the weight in the car. And apparently they were shorthanded. My thing is, well, if you're shorthanded, you should have told me at the beginning. So I can make arrangements. So I did miss out on going to GameStop, to just seeing what that was. And we'll talk a little bit more about that when we get to the main segment of the night, which is the Switch 2. But I do also want to go ahead and bring up one other thing. So, of course, again, I stream. And I wanted to talk about this. This is something I posted on X. This was after my last playthrough of Binary Domain, which was the finale. Again, if you want to go check that out, that's at Nash Thunderclap. I've been a little lazy on setting up the playlists, but I'll have a playlist soon for it. But this is after I saw this, because I got copyright claims. I get them all the time. but I don't make any money off of this. I do this for fun. Um, and I get it all the time, and it's most of the time it's audio. Sometimes it's audio that never existed, or it's something to where I'm just like, I'm not gonna fight that. There's no point in it, so there's no big deal about it. But I posted on X from what I saw in here, from what I went through. Now I wanted to ask around. I didn't get any response, but it said. But what I wrote was, to all my fellow streamers and Let's Players, have anyone, that should have been, well, that incorrect grammar already. Anyone ever seen this before? I have gotten claims on music and clips before, but never on visuals. There are over 20 on my last video and one on the one before that. Both binary domain playthroughs. What the heck at Sega? So this is my copyright information. This is what I got the copyrights on, and these were all visuals. All visuals on the game. I have never in my life have ever gotten claims on visuals for a playthrough. I don't know if it's something Sega had put in and they just forgot. Because if you notice on here, these look like file names. Preview, and it's a preview, so it's almost like these are file names. And I don't know if it's something they do. I don't know if it's the development company that I can't think of, the development studio who I can't think of, the one that does Like a Dragon and Yakuza. If it's something that they normally do. I mean, I've never streamed Yakuza. I've thought about it, but that's my question to anybody out there that does stream, and have they streamed Yakuza? Have they gotten claims like this for Yakuza? Is this something the studio does? But I found it odd because it's typically, I mean, these obviously look like these are file names, and I don't know why we got anything like that. Why I got anything like that? But again, there was no impact. I do this for fun. I'm just curious. I'm just curious on why I would get visual. And why was it 20 on this particular one? Part 4 only got 1, and then parts 1 through 3 got nothing. Is it something like towards the end of the game to prevent spoilers? I mean, this game is, this game is over 10 years old at this point, because I was still working at GameStop when this game came out, and I left GameStop in 2014. So I don't know what the deal is. If anybody knows, hit me up on the socials, like comment to that post, or just throw a chat on here on the on this video, so that way I can get a kind of an idea of what's going on. But that would be greatly appreciated. It just almost sounds like I'm just sitting here complaining and bitching and all that stuff. All right, let's go ahead and do our little quick hits. So topic, let's talk about the first thing right now. So per my last stream, I talked about Star Wars Celebration, and I said I just don't care about Star Wars, but sometimes things will come up and you gotta talk about it. Again, to me, Star Wars is dead. Star Wars ended the day Lucas sold it to Disney. And the end of the Star Wars story is when they blew up the second Death Star and they celebrated on Andor. That was it. And then the Clone Wars TV series that kind of gave you a nice little fill in the gaps between episode 2 and episode 3. And then you had your Disney stuff. There was hope, and then right down. But anyway, amongst all the Disney stuff, there was a series called Andor. Andor is a series that follows one of the characters from Rogue One, which out of all the Disney stuff, I thought Rogue One was pretty decent. I mean, it wasn't bad compared to the other stuff. I mean, it almost felt like a kind of a World War II type of movie, the way it was shot and everything. I mean, it wasn't egregiously offensive as far as what was going on. It was just basically a tale on how the spies got the plans to the Death Star. And we already know, at this point, everybody already knows what happens at the end of the movie. The main characters die when Death Star um, the Death Star blew up the planet. No, it didn't blow up the planet. I guess it blew up. I guess it did blow up the planet. I guess I don't know. It's been so long since I've seen it. The most memorable thing about that movie was the hallway scene with Darth Vader. That was the most memorable thing about the movie, because even to this day, you see people edit that particular clip all the time, because it really showed how badass Vader was. But after that, Disney decided to make an Andor series that covered the character's story arc before the movie, which is kind of hard to it's kind of hard to be invested in a character that wasn't really a big character. It doesn't have a huge following with the fans, in my opinion, because nobody ever talks about Andor other than the series. And it just kind of came and went. The first season, I had heard that it was good. It was just boring. It was just really, really boring. And I thought that that was going to be the end of it, because that's typically, other than The Mandalorian, they don't typically go into additional seasons for some of the Star Wars stuff. Like, and I hate to have to break it to you for the Acolyte fans. Yeah, that season 2 of that ain't ever going to happen. It never happened. But, never say never. It could happen. But season 2 had just come out. I had no idea. I wasn't following it. They've released the first 3 episodes. It's supposed to be a little bit more adult in nature, but the one big thing that came across it, and everybody was talking about it, and everybody had a side about it. There was a scene of a assault of the let's just say adult nature. I mean, I'm gonna highlight that there and say no more. But this comes from the Hollywood Reporter, and this basically talks about the creator explains that the about that shocking assault scene. I've seen it. It doesn't look shocking to me. I'm pretty sure that it was shocking as far as it being in a Star Wars property. But as far as like the overall scene and all, it didn't look too bad to me. I mean, you just form your own opinion on it, because I've already seen it. But I'm going to read into this right now. We're going to go ahead and cover this article real quick. Disney Plus's acclaimed Andor has stretched the creative boundaries of Star Wars in countless ways, bringing up a grown-up sensibility to a galaxy far, far away. And yet, Andor's standards, a scene from the second season, leaves fans shocked. An Imperial officer tries to violently a rebel fugitive, Bix Kalen, who is hiding out on a farming settlement while Imperial troops are rounding up undocumented citizens. Well, you really got to put that in your article so you can make it topical, right? Undocumented citizens. Okay, well, they're always. I know in some of these movies, they're always stormtroopers are always wanting to see identification, so that's never new. Let's see. The sequence. All right. The sequence plays out over the course of the show's 3rd episode. The first 3 episodes were all released all at once on Tuesday, with an officer's flirtation with Bix turning increasingly persistent, and eventually accumulating with a brutal life or death struggle. Bix eventually gets the upper hand and the officer is killed, but Andor boldly leaves zero ambiguity as to what the reviewers just as witnessed, as Bix reads, He tried to, you know what, me. The Star Wars franchise has never, in film form, ever shown consensual sex. During its first season, Andor pushed the envelope with scenes that suggested sex was about to take place, or had, just much like in old Hollywood films during the Hays Code censorship era. So it's essentially the thing about in Star Wars, it was implied. I know they implied it in some of the expanded universe, which I never followed any of that because, excuse me, it was just too much stuff. And at that point, it was at a period where I just wasn't really following Star Wars. I mean, still a fan and everything. Watched the movies as soon as they aired on TV, but I wasn't a big fan of it. Um, but this is just some weird stuff from the creator. But I mean, it was implied. I mean, you can imply that when Jabba captured Leia, and apparently in the novelization of it, it was a little bit more than just the him sticking his tongue out and licking it around. Or if you want to look at it this way, the puppeteer's hand moving the tongue around. But it was never like actually shown. When asked about the big scene, Andor creator Tony Gilroy explained to the Hollywood Reporter that when telling a story about war, shying away from that thing isn't didn't feel truthful. Let's see, and we're gonna go ahead and read this right here. I get one shot to tell everything I know, or can discover, or that I've learned about revolution, about battles, with as many incidents and as many colors as I can get in there, without having the story tip over, says Gilroy. I mean, let's be honest, man. The history of civilization, there's a huge arterial component of it. That's that word. All of us who are here, we're all a product of that. I mean, I don't know about that. I mean, that's just a weird statement to make. I mean, you were assuming quite a bit right there, Gilroy. I mean, armies and powers throughout history have committed that. So, not to touch it in some way, it just felt organic and felt right. Coming about as a power trip for this guy. I was really making it a path for Bix that would ultimately lead to clarity, but a difficult path to get back to clarity. I get the whole. So here's the thing. Yes, there's a war going on. Terrible things happen in war. Happen in war. But I think on some of the sides and the people's reaction to it are basically that with Star Wars being a story, it's I think they're looking at it is this is contained. We want to see specifically this. We want to see the fight for good versus evil. Um, something that that's I guess something that you could sit down with as a family to watch. I mean, minus all the limb cutting and all that stuff, and then the ancestral relationship between a brother and a sister. But you know, that's another story. And it's supposed to be a sci-fi fantasy where it's not too real because that stuff is real. It is too real. Are we saying are we saying that it's not happening in the Empire? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. Probably a ton of atrocities were happening in the Empire. But none of that was revolved in the actual main story of Star Wars. Even on these side characters that kind of go off. It sounds to me what they were trying to do with this. It seems like okay, they got a lot of praise for Andor season 1, but nobody really talked about it. Nobody really watched it. And they are throwing this in there to get people to start talking about it. And okay, you want people to talk about your series, fine, but the problem is, it's probably you're gonna get your couple of days in the press, and then it's just gonna fade away, and then they're gonna move on to the next thing. My question is, what are they going to do in the other episodes? Because are they going to do something that is going to be just as talked about, or is it just going to be back to the regular story? And this is your main, the main thing that you wanted to focus on to get people talking. because you got to look at a lot of things right at the beginning on this. When it comes to Disney and some of these shows, um, typically they release multiple episodes, and they do that to get their watch time up on it. And usually it is one to two episodes. Whereas other streaming services will release one episode, or they'll just go ahead and release the whole batch. Netflix has a habit of releasing the entire batch, but what they've done now is they'll take one season and split it in two. So you'll get the first half at the first part of the year, and then you'll get the second part at the later part of the year. Disney will go ahead and release 1 to 2 episodes to get their watch times up. Or in the case of Echo, they knew Echo was so bad, they just wanted to go ahead and throw it all out there. And that way it can be talked about and then disappear. And nobody's talking about Echo. In the case of this, and I don't know how many episodes of Andor there is, they released 3 episodes. Don't know what the time frame on each of the episodes are, but typically they're, depending on the episodes, I think they usually go anywhere from 30 to 50 minutes, depending on the story. So it just seems like that, you release 3 episodes. The one that people are going to talk about, you go ahead and they're lumping it in now to get the watch times really up and to have people talking about it and hoping that will get people into episode 4 and then finish out the series. And I've seen there are people that have talked about it. That is that a couple of fan accounts, like they created a fan account. I mean, not created, they quoted a fan account here. Of course, didn't name the fan account, which I know was Star Wars Theory, but this is what he said, and I don't think this is the full content. You stop doing that. He said, God, geez, stop doing that, computer. I just need to do this. Why are you doing this, computer? See, on the fly. Let's try at the bottom. And he said, Star Wars Series said, I don't want to see that in Star Wars. You can portray power dynamics, making the audience hate the Empire in other ways. True. Without taking it to such a disgusting place. Vader wouldn't tolerate that shit, nor does the Empire condone it. It has no place in Star Wars, period. And somebody else wrote that I don't mind having mature Star Wars, but I'm not okay as going as far as depicting an attempted something or other, or saying the world that. I'm actually quite disgusted with the Andor series right now. From my point of view, in my opinion, they did it. They did it for shock. And again, like I said, there's the fact that the Star Wars Theory says that Vader wouldn't tolerate it or the Empire condone it. We don't know that. The galaxy is a big place. There's no this stuff. There's probably plenty of stories in this universe of stuff that was going on that the Empire did not know about. Now, would Vader wouldn't tolerate it? Probably not. I mean, we all know Vader's a pretty flawed character, and he didn't really want to do some of the stuff that he was doing, but at that point he figured he was lost and there was no redeeming himself, so he went with it. But I mean, at the end of the day, I think they just really did this for shock value, just to get people talking and to get people to start watching the show. But hey, that's just my opinion on that, and I'm just going to leave it at that, because again, I don't really care about Star Wars, because again, this is going to be forgotten about. At this point, it's pretty much all forgotten about. People had already stopped talking about this, like I think after Friday, and they're just going to move on to the next thing to talk about, which you'll see your reviewers out there for Star Wars that'll talk about this, and then they're going to have their opinions on it. My question is, are they going to have anything else in the series that's going to be quite as talked about as this? Probably not. They're probably just going to finish out the season, and it's just going to be, well, it was pretty much boring. That was it. That was the biggest thing in here. A little a little thing that happened in the series. All right, so it's time to move on. Let's talk about some games. Let's talk about a game that took me by surprise. I haven't played it yet, but Clair Obscura Expedition 33. It has arrived and it's flying on Steam. How's it doing on Steam right now? Let's check that out because this was a great week for Western RPGs. We had, and they were back to back. So we have Expedition 33 and the Oblivion remaster. How are those doing right now, I wonder? Let's go to SteamDB. Here's Expedition 33. Let's update this because this is this might be this is probably about 30 minutes old at this point. All-time peak, 98,551. This is just on Steam. We're not talking about console. Right now, there's about 60,000 players playing it. That's your all-time peak right there. It has been picking up some pretty good steam. How's Oblivion doing? We're in the weekend. Let's find out. Let's update that. Their all-time peak, 205,000. Right now, there's 175,000 players playing it. As Steam kind of picks up on Expedition 33, I think that number will probably get a little bit higher. You had two big RPGs. Oblivion came out first, so I'm pretty sure a lot of people that would play this are playing Oblivion right now, and they're going through that. And they probably don't want to mix their games together, and Oblivion is probably going to be a long play. I've got Oblivion downloaded, and I just downloaded Expedition 33. I am not the biggest fan of turn-based combat, but I've already seen a little bit of gameplay, and I've already seen a little bit of gameplay, and it kind of reminds me with the battle menu when you're in a fight, that it reminds me of Persona. And I've been seeing a lot of that lately. They've been using that Persona menu system on a lot of these RPGs, these newer RPGs. Nothing wrong with it. It looks nice. It looks stylish. But it started off strong. The thing about this game is, it is made. It's an independent studio that made it. 33 guys, 6 women worked on this. Western studio out of France. Some of the big things is it looks fantastic. The visuals are great. The people that normally complain or look at, and I've complained about too, how the women don't look like men. They look like women. It has the similarities. The world itself has similarities, looking to like an area in France. And the same publisher, the one that did Stray, which again, check that out on. I got a playthrough on that on YouTube.com/@NashThunderclap. Go check it out. I mean, it just looks fantastic, and it is catching my eye. And I don't typically play these little games like that, so if you haven't seen it or don't know anything about it, we got a trailer right here. We're going to look at the trailer, and then we're going to look at a gameplay video. So let's take a look at that.
Product not yet rated.
It's already been rated, buddy.
Soon she'll wake and paint again. Paint a new number, ticking down every year. One stroke, and everyone of that age vanishes into nothingness.
You know what the visuals look like to me already? I'm thinking Liza P. I mean, it just reminds me a lot visually of Liza P.
Every year she paints again. And every year, an expedition departs for the continent with one hopeless mission. Destroy the paintress so she can never paint death again. We'll break the cycle so she can't steal anyone else's future.
This world is full of wonders.
Yet everywhere we go, we walk with death.
Do you mean we're the only ones left?
Even if we fail, we lay the trail for those who will come after. Right? We are Expedition 33.
All right. So when they announced this, I can't remember where they announced it. I think they announced it at I think it was one of the Sony Directs. I did not. I didn't see much, and I assumed it was going to be another Souls-like game. And I think I was still playing Liza P at the time, maybe. And I was just like, it's another one of these. Okay, whatever. I didn't realize it was a turn-based RPG. But one of the things that I like, and I'm pretty sure they'll cover it in this gameplay, this 6 minutes of gameplay. And this is one of the things I cannot stand about turn-based RPGs. But I did experience it, and I loved it in Mario RPG. The ability to either block or parry. And you can block and parry on this. And if you have enough successful parries, you can counterattack. And because when I played RPGs before, like Final Fantasy and all that, you will get, if you don't have a proper strategy or you're not leveled up enough, you'll get overwhelmed and you'll get defeated pretty easily just because of one particular move, or if you didn't balance everything out correctly, or you didn't get the time to like heal your party, and then you're done, and then you have to go and redo the fight all over again. It's not quite as obnoxious as it is in some of the other games that I've been playing, but I mean, it can get boring after a while, especially if you're like, oh, I'm dying over and over again. What do I need to do? I need to grind a little bit more. Maybe I need to go find a stronger weapon. But some of the older RPGs, it wasn't quite as open world, and it's pretty linear to where you needed to go. So you'd have to grind smaller monsters or smaller enemies to get those levels up. And sometimes that could take, I mean, I could spend one day. That's what I did on Kingdom Hearts. The Kingdom Hearts 2. I spent several days just grinding to get up to level 99 because I didn't want the same thing to happen to me on Kingdom Hearts 1, where I got to the end, but I got decimated. I mean, I got decimated. And I just gave up and just had my pinch hitter come in, which, if you don't know, my pinch hitter is a video of the YouTube. So I just played the final boss fight on that and then saw the ending from there. But, you know, it's not often I call it a pinch hitter. But GameStop, we got 6 minutes of gameplay footage. So let's take a look at this. So this way you can kind of get an idea of how it plays. Game no longer in development, it's already out. Looks amazing.
68. Elodie's expedition.
You know the commanders of every expedition.
Expedition 68. Their boat was blown into the air by a storm. Lumiere lost sight of it, but assumed they crashed on the continent.
And they survived. The storm, at least.
All right, let's keep moving. We found the weird corals. Mael must be close by.
Wait. Everyone. Looks like a different species.
Doesn't matter. They're between us and Mael.
All right, the fight begins. Now the shaking of the camera between where it's cutting between your menu and then the enemy and then back to you, that's a little jarring, but you can. I'm pretty sure I get used to that. I'm pretty sure you could too. Hopefully, there's something in the menu because I tend to turn motion blur off because I can't stand motion blur. So maybe that's something that'll tone that down a little bit. Love that. You can dodge and not take any hits. Love that. The 3 parries into a counterattack.
Over there. A hut.
Slow down. We don't know what's inside yet.
Maybe a sponge. I mean, it did look like a pineapple under the sea.
This building has a certain melancholy beauty. A lone outpost of humanity nestled amongst the corals. A sailor lost at sea.
Our resident cynic is now a poet.
Wouldn't expect a Cartesian engineer to understand beauty.
Another thing, you can avoid the enemies. I love that in games. You can avoid the enemies. I mean, that'll show you how often I play RPGs like this.
We can use that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie either. She looks like she is struggling to run. Like, it's an absolute struggle.
Watch out!
You're right.
It only attacks when...
It's coming!
Yeah, when you stepped on the flowers, I mean, he is the groundskeeper. Oh, he's got red hair, so it's groundskeeper Willie.
Let's spill some ink.
Seems peaceful. As long as we don't touch the flowers.
Yeah, let's not get too sentimental. It's still a painter's creation.
Yeah, everything's cool as long as you don't touch the flowers, even though you just whipped its ass.
Damn, Maya, what was that?
It felt familiar somehow.
Gustav, we won't understand what's going on if we kill everything that moves.
Where's the
Gestural
fun in
village
that?
must be ahead.
You know what Neverons are capable of.
She'll be fine.
She'll be fine.
You know, they were still stepping on the flowers.
We're not dying here!
We're not dying here! Alright. Well, and we already know it's out. We already know it's out. Yeah, I mean, it just looks really, really nice. I really like the parry and dodge system in the game. The question is, can I pull it off? And I know that's one of my biggest things, because you've got to get those things down. The timing, your timing has to be impeccable. But once you get it, it's it'll be a breeze to pull off. But again, I'm like everybody else right now. I've got Oblivion downloaded. I got this downloaded, but I've already started on Oblivion. Just already made my character. I haven't actually started the game yet. And that's the thing about when you have so many good games or so many talked about games coming out at the same time, it's trying to devote as much time as you can. After, of course, you do your adulting, you know, do your work, get your bills out of the way and everything else, spending time to, like, you know, a couple of minutes just to sit down and play a game. But if you want to see me try these out, the plan is I will be trying these out next week over on Kick and Twitch. There'll be Let's Tries. So if I can get a little time to where they'll be on days to where I can actually devote a huge amount of hours to them, we'll be doing that next week sometime. So just keep an eye on the socials for that. But yeah, Expedition 33, again, that's not bad for I would say a first game from a new studio, independent release, and they've already announced that they have sold 500,000 units. Not like some of these AAA studios like Ubisoft, who have said we've got 10 million people, and I'm 10 million, I'm making up that number, people playing it. They still have not released their sales numbers, as far as I know. But there 5 million people engaged in the game, or 300 million tweets on our post. Actual numbers, they have sold 500,000 units and I would say that is pretty impressive from a new studio, a independent publisher. A lot of the people that worked on this game worked at Ubisoft, and I'm sure they left because they probably didn't agree with what Ubisoft's been doing as far as making games. So, hey, you got the talent, leave, make your own thing. And if you have the passion behind it, it can be successful. You just and what this is going to end up doing is This is going to this I can only see this number going up. Once people are done with Oblivion, I think this number will grow and grow and grow. It'll probably crack all-time peak of 100,000. We could probably see that over this weekend. And then I think this will actually be good for the studio. We could probably actually see more great stuff from them, as long as they don't get enveloped by another publisher, or major publisher. Like if they don't get swallowed up by Microsoft or Sony or Ubisoft. Well, shit, I don't even think Ubisoft can afford to do that. Maybe their new company can do it. But I also think a lot of this success too is also on Game Pass. And Game Pass has just really gotten some really good games out lately. So, hey, sometimes it'll help a developer, sometimes it doesn't. I'll play this. If I like it, my next step will be a physical copy. I will want to get a physical copy. Did the same thing with Liza P. Tried it on Game Pass, and I got it physically, which I'm glad I did because it is no longer on Game Pass. So when the new expansion comes out, I've got a physical copy. It'll be ready to go. So yes, so that was Expedition 33, a game that pretty much took everybody by surprise. All right, so let's go on to the main topic. But before we get to the main topic, I just want to make sure everybody out there is everybody's good. Everybody comfortable? You got your snacks? Have you gone do the pee-pee? Have you got your sodas like me drinking up right there? Because this one's going to be a long one because we're going to be also reacting to we're also going to be reacting to a infamous live streamer and his experiences on trying to get a Switch 2. So let's talk about the Nintendo Switch 2 pre-orders were a total mess at first. This is from The Verge. And this happened Thursday night starting, it was 12 p.m. Eastern time. So in my time zone, Central, it was 11 p.m. I'm sorry, 12 a.m. 12 a.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. Central. That was my time. I was, again, I had stated before, I was 90-10. Not going to get it. But I was streaming. I was doing the finale. No, I wasn't. Was I? Was I streaming that night? Maybe. That would have been, I think, Mario Galaxy. Let me see. That was the 23rd. See, I can't keep track of my stuff. That was the 24th. Was I streaming? That would have been Mario Galaxy if I would have done that. No, that was Wednesday. Yes. Because I went and did all my stuff Thursday. Okay, so yeah, I was finishing up my stream on the finale on Binary Domain. I was on my phone. I was listening to, which y'all didn't hear. I was listening to the Kino Casino on my phone, and they were ready to pre-order their Switch 2s. So I got done with my stream. It was almost 11 o'clock. So I said, you know what? What the hell? I am going to go ahead and I'm just going to see what it's going to look like. It's going to be a mess. And I want to see how far I actually get into the process before it just says they're completely sold out. I just wanted to see what the process was. But let's read the article first, and I'll go in a little bit more on that. So we'll read this article from Jay Peters. We'll see how this will go. Nintendo delayed Switch 2 pre-orders finally kicked off in the U.S. at 12 a.m. Eastern on Thursday at Best Buy, Target, and Walmart. No GameStop, because GameStop said they were going to do theirs on Thursday with at store locations. I think they did it on their website before the stores opened, because the stores did theirs at 12 in the afternoon, because that's when most of their stores open now. They open at noon. And I think they started doing those at 10 a.m., but I'm not entirely sure. Almost immediately, there were big problems. After nearly an hour of frustration, many of us here at The Verge secured pre-orders, but it seems like pre-orders were out of stock at retailers. Target seemed to open first, but trying to order was rough. Many of us were able to get to the checkout screen, but ran into issues from there that stopped a purchase, like being asked to update our addresses or Target losing our payment details. Some users online who did appear to get Target orders were also reported that they were canceled, although stock appeared to float in and out after the pre-orders went live. Target now says that both console and the bundle with the Mario Kart World are out of stock. Okay, so this is what it went for me, and this is how I did it. So just to play around. So I opened up and I did this on my PC. And at the same time, I had a live streamer. I forget his name. Let me see if I can look that up real quick. I'm gonna go wide here for a second while I do this. Hello, hey, how's everybody doing? Because I want to give him props that I actually used him for a reference on that. Let me see if I can find him. Is he on here? He's gotta be. Yeah, here we go. I found it. Jake Randall. I had his live stream up, and Jake Randall is a really good, when it comes to like if you're wanting to get like anything video game related, and especially if it's something that's going to be limited, he's got some great tips. He'll do live streams on these launches, and he will walk you through on how to secure these items. It's not a 100% work through, but I mean, he is very good about helping you get these systems, and he's very positive YouTuber as well. But and I can't recommend him enough. But we're gonna go back to this. So what I did, I set up 3 tabs. And then I put in an extension on Chrome to where it would constantly refresh the page. So I was on Target, and I got in there. It didn't have anything going, and then it refreshed, and it wasn't right at midnight. It was a little after midnight, and I got it into the cart. And then the same thing that was, I was already logged in. I got into the cart, and it did the same thing to me. It asked for my shipping information, which I had to re-enter. I had to re-enter my card information, which was already on file. And then when you hit proceed to checkout, it would keep coming up with these error messages. But it was the error for the site, not me. So I just periodically would help, and it was always set up. It just, the only thing that was holding it back was a proceed to checkout, and I would hit it periodically just to see where it would go and all this stuff. And on the other end, I had Best Buy and Walmart open up. With Walmart, you got put into a queue, and then when your line was up in the queue, then you could proceed to order whichever bundle that you went with. But mine stayed in the queue for like hours. I did check the next day, and apparently they still had it up and listed for pre-order. I don't know if they're done or not. Best Buy didn't do anything until about 12:30, and they did the same thing as Walmart. They put you in line so you could still keep shopping. But we'll read the rest of this article because I'm pretty sure it's going to mirror what I'm going to say, what I just said. Walmart's website, for me, had a vague queue of a long time. This deal was almost gone. That's what it said. This deal is almost gone, according to the page. But eventually, many of us at The Verge were able to snag a Switch 2 pre-orders from the retailer. Like Target, Walmart eventually showed a handful of consoles and bundles were in stock here and there before they were both sold out. Best Buy, which had promised to launch pre-orders at 12 a.m. Eastern, showed a gray coming soon button on the Switch 2 and Mario Kart World Bundle pack for about 30 minutes. As of 12:31 a.m., I was in a line for the bundle, but Best Buy kicked me out shortly thereafter before 2 a.m. Eastern and said that the bundle was out of stock. Although I wasn't able to buy one from Best Buy, I saw many reports online of success there. So I think if I had to speculate, I think Best Buy was waiting for Target and Walmart to kind of go through the rush and see what the demand was, and they were probably going in and prepping in for the influx of traffic to their website, so that way, the vast majority of people were doing stuff there, and then they finally got over and get what was remaining on their website. But I'm pretty sure it slowed everything down and everything like that. Now, what had happened was, while this was going on, I was still on Target. And I'm just, because my whole thing was I was waiting, like, how long do I keep tapping this before it gets to the point to where we're sold out? We're sold out. We're done. Lo and behold, I kept tapping it. It kept refreshing, or it kept going back, kept saying error. And then just on the last, and then I heard on Jake talking about, well, Target's out. Target is completely out of both SKUs. But it still said proceed to checkout on mine. So, and then he was saying reports that people from with their Target orders were already getting cancellation notices. So I just like, I'll click it one more time. And then as soon as I've clicked it, hey, you want to finalize this? Proceed to checkout. Hey, we got it in the cart, ready to go. Are you done? And at that point, I was like, fuck it, I got this far. I'm going to go ahead and buy this thing. So I went ahead and I bought. So I ended up doing the 10% of the thing that I said I wasn't going to. So I got it. But my next thing I was looking out for, because Jake was talking about cancellation notices for Target, because he said there were people reporting that they were getting cancellation notices. So I went through and I had been checking and I'm doing it right now. I'm checking my emails from Target. And the last thing I got from Target, email-wise, was thank you for your order. So I also checked the app as well, just to make sure. Check my profile, my purchase history. The last thing on their purchase history was the Switch 2, which some people are going to get it on launch day. Mine is listed from the 6th, between the 6th and the 11th. So I will probably I may not get mine, and I'm saying I may not get mine on launch day, so I will have one coming. It would be between those days. I am still expecting a cancellation notice. I could possibly change my mind and say, you know what, this is not worth it, especially as more and more stuff keeps coming out. One of the things is they showed off and I don't have an article here for it, but I will go ahead and tell you about it. In Japan, the third-party games, with the exception of Cyberpunk 2077, all the third-party games in Japan are just going to be on the key cards. As a reminder, the key cards are just cartridges that will just give you access to a downloaded game. You pop that in there, you still download the game. The advantages of the key card is you can take it and move it between systems. You can even sell it used if you want to. But Project CD Red, sorry about that. Project CD Red has it in they have it in their mind as they want to put this on a cart bad. Real bad. So they're going to do it. But the fear is all the third-party games are going to be coming to the United States as key cards, which the two that we have seen so far on a lot of the sell sheets have Street Fighter and Bravely Default, and both of those are going to be on key cards. I can understand Street Fighter because the biggest size on a Switch 2 card is 64 gigs. And see, that's the thing too. Cyberpunk, they're getting Cyberpunk 2077 on a key card. I mean a 64 gig card. Either they have done some amazing compression, or some of it's going to be for download. But they'll typically tell you on the box art. But they're really advertising the full game being on that 64 gig card. Because that was one of the things with Witcher 3 on the Switch too. They got that entire game on a Switch cart, and I think the carts were 30. The maximum was 32. And of course, it didn't look great, but it played pretty well. I'm not entirely sure. It's hard when it comes to Switch games. I can't even remember what I've got. I cannot even remember what I got. But I know it looks a little fuzzy. It's 720. I mean, if you even look at like Doom compared to the full console versions, it runs well, but it's just fuzzy looking. But that's what you get when you try to put something on a portable system like that. But a couple of those studios, like Marvelous, has already said, yeah, we're actually going to put our games on a cart. They're going to be on an actual cart, not a key card. So I guess it just really depends on the size of the game and who the studio is. Because I also learned what goes into the cost of some of these things for the third parties. So there is a Nintendo licensing fee that the third parties have to pay, and it is 30%. On top of that, they have to pay for the manufacturing on the carts, which the carts are anywhere from $10 to $15. So that may go into affecting on what some of the pricing is going to look like. So I think if they're actually going to do it on a cart, which Cyberpunk 2077 is on, and it is $70, I believe. Whereas Street Fighter 6, which is on a key card, or I have a key card for that, it's going to be $59.99. So I could see a lot of third parties. I don't see everybody doing it in the United States, but I see a vast majority doing the key cards. At that point, and I've thought about it, what's the point of buying the key card? Because you might as well just buy and download the game. And I've seen a lot of people online complaining about that stuff. But these are also some of the same people that will also say, well, why buy a Switch 2? Because you can buy a Steam Deck and it'll play these games better. Or, you got a Steam Deck and you get the Steam Deck for less money and you can get a bigger library of games at a lower cost. And some of the games that are going to be on the Switch 2 are going to be at a lower cost, like Cyberpunk 2077 will be on the Steam Deck at a lower cost. And a lot of people are complaining about the download and the keycard stuff. But on the Steam Deck, you have to download every game on there. There's not an option for physical media of any way, shape, or form. And I think a lot of people that are complaining when it comes to like Nintendo and Sony and Microsoft is they are used to physical media. Granted, when Steam came around, and then a lot of the PC games were going into that route, Believe me. And I was there. I saw it because at my GameStop, we had PC games. We had physical PC games. People bitched and complained once Steam became a thing. The only way you can get a game is through download. And then we've got 20 years of Steam, and it is just the norm. People are used to it. But a lot of people now are pretty much their big thing is owning the game. And some of these storefronts are getting a little bit better about it. GOG is always, you buy from GOG, you own the game no matter what. It is yours. Steam's gotten better about that too, with some of the titles that are, you buy it, it is yours forever no matter what. Because we're getting into this age when it comes with the digital games, because they're not, you don't own them, they're licenses. And those can be pulled for you at any time. And for what they're charging for this, for a license, I don't know. It's just ridiculous. And they keep advertising them as buy now, purchase now. Instead, they should change it to lease now, license now. Because you're not going to own it unless you get a physical copy. And then in some cases, in the physical copies of the games now, it's the same thing. You're just buying a key code on a physical disc. It still downloads from the internet. But, I'm going off a tangent on here, going off topic. So let's talk about on the GameStop side. So there were people, they couldn't get it online. They couldn't do all that stuff. GameStop to the rescue. And actually, let me see if I can just go wide here. I still need to get my Stream Deck set up for this, and that's taking a minute on here because I didn't pull any articles on GameStop pre-orders. Let's see. I am not seeing a good article on here. But I just did see something that would be worth talking about on the GameStop side of it. Yeah, let me see if I can get that blown up to 200. We'll talk about that in a second. But as far as you missed out on your pre-orders from Target, Walmart, Best Buy the night before. GameStop stores to the rescue. And, I have my problems with GameStop. Everybody has their problems with GameStop. And there were a couple of people online, streamers and stuff like that were in the same boat. They couldn't get one online. And they went to the GameStop. The overall experience from what I heard, as far as the GameStop pre-order experience, seamless, streamlined, easy to get. The way it worked out is the night before they put up a sign that told customers how many of each of the SKUs they were going to get. And I noticed on a lot of pictures online, I even looked at my GameStop because I stopped by to see what their window was going to say. They got in a lot of Mario Kart bundles. It was like just the regular console with just the base model. They had a pretty decent amount. Usually the Mario bundle was double what the base models were. So like in the case of my GameStop, they got 44. They were going to be able to pre-order 44 Mario bundles and then 22 standard, which that to me that was a lot. See, when I worked at GameStop, that was a lot of systems right there. We would never get that many in, but considering this is the only GameStop at town, they could afford that many on that. So what they would do is that the customers would go up, they would stand in line, which as they do, some people stayed overnight. You're absolutely crazy for doing that, but that's what FOMO does to you. The employee would come out with a sheet, so that way you can mark what system that you want, any games that you wanted to pre-order, and any accessories you wanted to pre-order. And then you turn it in, boom, 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 boom. Because they would, if it was anything like I was there last, they would hotkey all the SKUs, so all they had to do was just punch it in, ready to go. But and I'm pretty sure that those bundles went first, because you would be crazy, and that's, by the way, that's what I got. I got the Mario Kart bundle. You'd be crazy not to get a Mario Kart bundle, because that basically saved you $30 right there. Because if you look at the pricing, $50 extra for the bundle. So essentially, you're getting Mario Kart for $50. Whereas if you bought the base and then bought the game at $80, it would cost you $30 more to buy them that way. But if that's all you can get, that's all you can get. And I had been hearing that that was the way to go. It was a great experience, and a lot of people that were not able to get what they could online, GameStop got them covered. But of course, when it comes to GameStop, there's going to be some shenanigans going on. And this article popped up on those shenanigans. GameStop investigates Astoria store over forced Switch 2 pre-order bundles. Any customer who was turned away at the Astoria location should reach out via DM so we can make it right. I am going to tell you something about this right now. GameStop has a habit. They did this when I was there last with the PS5s and the Xboxes. Because they were so sparse, and this was around 21, the systems were so sparse. If you wanted to get a system, you had to buy a bundle. You could not buy a system on its own. You go to Walmart, you go to Target, you go to Best Buy. You could get these systems by themselves. Not with GameStop. You had to buy a bundle, and the bundle would change every time they would get a shipment in, whether it would be 2 or 3 games with a controller and a charging station, anything like that. But the whole idea with this is, and GameStop would tell you to do this. They didn't do it on the first pre-orders. Now, I'm pretty sure as these systems come in, and if they're in high demand, future systems that come in after launch, they will do that. They will do that. I just watch. I bet you they will do it. Now, I know some of the other places now are giving like bundle options, but it's not something that you have to do to get the system. But basically, you get out of here. And here's, the shortcut. I like this. The shortcut. GameStop is investigating complaints about an Astoria store pushing expensive Switch 2 pre-order bundles. A customer reported being forced to buy bundles with accessories, raising the price. GameStop's help account urged affected customers to reach out via demand for a resolution, which I'm pretty sure they were turned away because they couldn't do the pre-order. They wouldn't let them do the pre-order. Switch 2 pre-orders on GameStop's website sold out quickly after technical issues and crashes. Hundreds of people turned to traditional brick-and-mortar GameStop stores to pre-order Switch 2 consoles. However, complaints were made against an Astoria store in Queens, New York for pushing expensive Switch 2 pre-order bundles onto customers. So I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you a little bit of insider baseball on this. I guarantee you their DM told them to do that, which probably came from a directive from their regional director. Whether anybody above that gave the direction to do that, there's no telling. But I would say on the very least, their DM told them to do that. So every store in that district did that. This is the only store that got reported. Or you have an overzealous store manager that was trying to push something like that to get their sales up. But here's the thing about pre-orders. They don't get those sales until the game comes out and they're picked up. those sales are in a floating pattern, they're in a holding pattern until then. But if I had to take a wild guess, the DM told them to do it. This was the only store that got reported. In a post on X, Elia Tenzalis, an Emmy-winning audio engineer, claimed that the GameStop store they lined up for was forcing people to buy bundles that included accessories such as cases and screen protectors, which would hike up the price. So this GameStop is forcing you to buy bundles, cases, screen protectors, etc. Tenzalis, I hope I got that right. Sorry if I got that wrong. They're claiming that they can't process the SKU just for the console, but we all know what's going on here. Personally, I want Donkey Kong Bonanza and a screen protector, so it wasn't a big deal. Others were leaving. As someone who worked at a retailer during the PS4 Xbox One console launches, this practice isn't uncommon. However, they'd always offer, not a requirement, as a requirement, stores would make such a big markup as possible, bundling in superfluous accessories, especially if they're the company's own brand. It's always an easy way to achieve this. Pushing warranty schemes are also a high priority with new consoles. So I wasn't there for the PS4 and Xbox One launches, but when I was at my time first at GameStop, there for the Wii, for the PS3, didn't have to do that. Now, we would have sheets and we would suggest extra accessories like extra controllers, some games. You're going to need games for this thing. But never, and then warranties. Warranties were very important. But we never forced them upon people, but we suggested them. That's how you do it. You make suggestions for these people, unless the company directed, but you had to do it, and you had to be a good little worker ant and do what the company wants you to do. And especially in my last run, they set it up in the computer to where they would not, if it was just the system, it wouldn't process the order at all, unless those other items were attached to it. Let's see. However, I've never known customers to be forced into buying a bundle. It isn't surprising that some people walked away entirely. Obviously, this isn't ethical or fair, or people just wanted to pre-order their Switch 2, which led to GameStop to announce that it's investigating the matter. It got out there. It makes GameStop look bad, and like, oh, well, you know what? Even though probably the store manager was doing what they were told, the store manager is probably going to get fired because of that. So it ain't going to be the DM. It's going to be the store manager, because the DM is going to be like, I didn't tell them to do that. And none of the other store managers are going to back up that claim because they're going to be worried about losing their job. So somebody's got to take the fall, and it's going to be that store manager at that job. In a response to whatever post, GameStop help account said, we're actively investigating this. Any customer who was turned away at the Astoria location should reach out via DM so we can make it right. They did bring out sheets, because I've seen the sheets. They brought out sheets asking customers, what do you want to pre-order? It wasn't a requirement. If I ended up being in the line and I decided to pre-order, I would have just pre-ordered. I'd pre-order the system and maybe a game or two, because the only game I'm really kind of interested in on a cart is Cyberpunk 2077. That's the only one I'm kind of interested in. Street Fighter, anything that's going to be on a key card, I'm just going to download. But my big purchases, I got to look into extended storage. And if these games are going to be like 64 gigs plus, that 256 internal is going to be gone quick. And right now I've got my eye on an express SD card of 1 gig. And right now that sucker is $200. I mean, you really are putting some money into these systems nowadays. The problem is, I'm not sure how GameStop can make this right. One, it'll be near impossible to verify that who actually was in the store at the time. And with Switch 2 stock being in such short supply, it's not something they could easily rectify the situation. By chance, we visited the Astoria store and found that less than 100 Switch 2 consoles were available before the door opened, with the majority being for the Mario Kart 2 bundle. So this is exactly what it kind of looked like in my area. More Mario Kart bundles than base units. GameStop was the last retailer to go live with their Switch 2 pre-orders, and it wasn't exactly smooth sailing. The company's website and app crashed immediately, which it's online because you're fighting actual customers and you're fighting boxing scalpers. And that'll kind of go on to my next thing. A few hours later, GameStop officially had announced that it officially sold out of Switch 2 pre-orders. So what this ended up doing with those customers that just left, they're never shopping at GameStop again. They will pay a scalper an outrageous amount of money to get a Switch 2 than have to deal with that mess again. They would rather pay more money for just the one thing, but they're going to end up probably paying about the same with all the bundle stuff, but they just don't see needing all that stuff, especially when the majority of people that are pre-ordering are going to be your hardcore gamers. And your hardcore gamers already know what the system can and cannot do. One of those, we already know. Yeah, you can use some of your old Switch equipment on it, like your Pro controllers. You can use your old Pro controller on a Switch too. That's why I'm not getting a Pro controller for that system. I'm going to use all of that. That also probably means your dinky third-party controllers that can connect to a Switch. I'm pretty sure those will work as well. Secondary controllers. You know what? I can use my old Joy-Cons. You know what? Flip those in the little housing. You're set. So if you need to do multiplayer, there you go. You got your second controller on that. But this is going to force those people to resort to scalpers. But if anything is true from what I've heard from with the way this queue system and all that, they were keeping it one per customer. It was based on your address. So unless the bots went crazy on this, they just kind of went to a they kind of tried to make it harder for scalpers. But that's basically how it kind of went. I mean, it went, in my opinion, like it would with any other kind of launch like that. I mean, you're gonna have problems. There's gonna be shortages. It's just you're getting that FOMO out of the way, and then you just basically from that point you just wait and see when restocks are going to happen, or if you just happen to come across it open in the wild, just untouched, you just get it or you don't. You wait until you want to wait until maybe the demand has died down, maybe then when there's more games out. I mean, your hardcore people, or like me, your morons, jump on this. Again, I wasn't intending on jumping on this, but it just happened and I went with it because you know what? I just can't help myself, and I can only blame myself for that. But this is going to go into the next part of this lovely, lovely pre-order story. So we are going to not there, Jake Randall. We're gonna talk about a live streamer, an infamous live streamer who had issues pre-ordering the Switch, and this is DSP Darkside Phil. If you have no idea who Darkside Phil is, he has been streaming, making videos, Twitch, YouTube, whatever, for almost 20 years. And this dude is infamous. He is hated in the gaming community because he is an online streamer, and what he does is beg for money. He will chastise his viewing audience for not donating money. He started out in the fighting game community, and he went from there, and he is not liked on there as well. There is so much DSP lore that is just not, I can't properly describe it. And there is a rabbit hole from DSP about DSP which I have heard. You go down into, there's no turning back. And he did a couple of live streams about his Switch 2 pre-orders, and they're just watching it. It's just chef's kiss because of the stupidity on this and what's happening to this dude, just because of what goes on, what happens, and what he draws a conclusion to because of the result of it. And I thought we'd cover a little bit of this. Now, as far as DSP himself, I am planning a live stream. There is a documentary from a YouTuber called June the King, and I actually want to do a reaction live stream on that. It's a long one. I can't remember how long it is, but it might take 2 live streams to do. Especially with as much cutting in and out as I do for some of this stuff, it will probably be 2 live streams. So I will do that sooner or later. Again, keep an eye on the socials, because I think it'll be fun to cover. And we'll learn more about our boy Phil. Yeah, especially, and also the Kino Casino has been covering him lately. Oh, hilarious. Maybe one day we can get into a reaction of their reaction. But this is from his stream where he was pre-ordering the Switch 2 on his stream. And then the hijinks will ensue from there. And it's just, I can't do it any justice. So we're going to go ahead and start on this.
Confirm. I got it from Walmart. Of all places, I got it from Walmart. We did it, guys. That was a nightmare, but we did it. 100.
We do it? I mean, it seems like you did it, but, whatever. However you want to celebrate it there, Magnum PI.
100%. I got confirmation. It's the standard one. I didn't get the Mario Kart bundle.
But that happiness will soon turn into sadness.
Oh, yeah, by the way, this is a compilation from, I believe it's from the Twitter account. What was it? News M101, which I believe is Memology. Check out his stuff on YouTube. He's great as well.
It claims I'm still in line for the Mario Kart bundle. It errored out, and then I didn't get it. But it claims I'm still in line for it. I'm trying to check out at Target. It won't let me check out. Every time I click on it, it just loads endlessly, and then it says error, can't complete the order. Well,
yeah.
Just ignore me in the corner looking like an idiot. So here it is from Walmart.com, delivery, pre-order date, my address. There it is, the Switch 2.
Why are you going to show your address? And I'm sorry that I have it on here. Memology didn't blur this out, but he's going to get into that in a second, and then I'm going to make another comment on that.
Order total, blah, blah, blah. I got it. 100% confirmed. Yeah, I'll self-dox like you guys don't know my address. It was doxed in 2014, the week that I moved here. You guys already know my address.
Not everybody knows your address. Oh, my God. This drives me nuts. I will never do this. The only time this will ever happen to me is by accident, but I don't put anything like that on this computer anyway. But, wishful thinking and all that. But, oh, my God. And hold on. Let me, I don't want to keep this up. I really don't. Let me go wide. Oh, my God. Why would you do this? Why would you show your order screen? Explain that to me. Why are you live streaming doing this anyway? Does this make great content? Now, granted, Jake does it on his channel, but he's doing that for a purpose. He's doing that to help people and give them tips and give them updates on what's going on with that. But oh my God, come on. And I think he showed his order number too. Jesus. Yeah, we'll go back over here. Yeah, order number. Put your order number up there. What? Why?
Walmart pre-order. All right, we're good. Well, everyone, this is the Daily Wrap for Wednesday, the 23rd, 2025. I actually already filmed a Daily Wrap, and it was a really positive, great one. And now I have to refilm this an hour later at 11:16 p.m. to tell you how messed up my situation is when people say things about how Phil over-exaggerates and Phil constantly is just talking out of his butt. So here's what happened today. We had 2 great streams. The first stream was Oblivion Remastered. Great fun. We hit the goals. Then the late stream was also a great stream of me building the first half of my Lego Piranha plant.
I've thought about doing that, doing a stream of building Lego stuff, and you know there are people that do live streams of building Lego stuff, but I'm having hesitations about that because that seems like that'd be boring. Watching me doing that, I think it would be almost just better because I've got a Mega Bloks 360 over here that's still sitting in the box that I want to put together, but I don't know. Maybe if I did a video on it, I think that would be better because at least I could edit it and make it interesting. But a live stream, I don't know. And I even bought like an over the head arm thing for something like that. But you know, I don't know. But shit, most of my stuff's boring anyway.
We hit the goal again, which means that tomorrow we're doing DSP tries at Chipotle, and that's awesome.
Hey, folks, would you want to watch me eat on stream? Huh? If I hit a goal, do you want to watch me eat a Big Mac? You know how interesting that is? I honestly think the fact that watching me eat would be disgusting because most if you're going to eat, and I've seen this for most live streamers, either they take their face away from the camera or they turn their camera off so they can eat. I would never have you guys endure me eating on camera because it is a mess and it's a horrific thing to look. I mean, especially with this face, watching food go into it and watch me chew, it would be an absolute nightmare.
So, at 8:55 p.m., I attempted to get the Switch 2. I was going between multiple different websites, including Best Buy, Walmart, Target, and more. Couldn't get it from anywhere but Walmart. Added 2 to cart. Actually checked out both the Mario Kart bundle and this regular Switch 2.
Keep in mind, you know, before I go forward, you go further with this. Keep in mind, he said 2 in the cart. Keep that in mind. 2 in the cart. 2 Switch 2s in the cart. And what did I talk about earlier? That these places, 1 per customer. Keep that in mind.
Regular Switch 2 was coming June 5th on release day. The other one is coming June 8th. Great. Checked out, paid, good to go. Finishing up my work, turned the stream off. Okay, I'm going to film the daily wrap. As I'm filming this daily wrap, I announce, hey, I got 2 Switch 2s. What a great day. Everything's amazing. And then I check my email where it proceeds to tell me that both orders have been canceled.
Perfect reaction.
Does it say that it's because of an error on Walmart? No, it says, I canceled the orders.
Error, error, error.
So I'm currently talking with Walmart right now about someone socially engineered my account on Walmart.com, and through basically very basic information, what it must have been, because it certainly wasn't anything crazy, they got access and canceled my orders.
So that's the first thing you want to jump to right away. If an order was canceled. And this is just where his brain is on that, because he has a lot of what they call detractors. And I'm giving you just like what my base information of what little I know of this guy. Or what most of it, even though I do follow him on Twitch, but I've only like watched his stuff once or twice. But that's going to be your go-to. You're not going to assume the logical explanations on this, because this is what I'm assuming is going to happen to me anytime on mine. That they over pre-ordered, they had to cancel because they over pre-ordered, and they had to cancel my order because they did more pre-orders than what they had in stock. Especially when you've got millions of people doing the same thing at the same time, it just takes a millisecond. You could both put the order in at the same time for the very last one. But if that first person gets in there by a millisecond, but they both say, hey, we've processed your order. It's complete. And it was the one left. A person that got there, that hit that button by a millisecond will get it first. And then the person that just missed out will get a cancellation notice saying that, oops, it's been canceled. And they give you a blanket cancellation notice. I'm sorry, a generic one. I'm sorry. A generic cancellation notice on that. But no, he's assuming that his account got socially engineered and they got in.
So now I don't have a Switch 2. I love it. I was going to get 2. I was going to keep 1, maybe give 1 to my wife, maybe have a backup in case the Switch 2 failed at launch, because that's what happened with the Switch 1.
Okay, unless you... Okay, the only people that are really being greedy with these things are scalpers. I know there would probably be some parents out there that would want to get one if they want to get one, more than one for their kid. But usually, from my experience with parents, the smart ones would figure out a way with that because they will already know the one per customer policy. So they would order one, and they'd probably get the grandparents to put in the order for the other one, because they do it based on your address, and or they get a friend to do the other one. Pretty much like that's probably what the scalpers do. But his explanation, I wanted to get a backup just in case the first one bricked, or I'm going to give it to my wife. And I think he says he's going to do one for a giveaway. He could possibly he probably was going to try to sell that one too, because there's somebody, I don't know if it's still up, but it was up a couple of days ago on eBay. Somebody's trying to sell one for $4,000. Telling you, these scalpers are just,
maybe eventually do a giveaway, and now I have nothing. So I want you guys to understand again that when people say that, oh, DSP exaggerates or whatever, no, they actually do this stuff to me. This is why I refuse to give any personal details about anything in my life. This is why I will not film anywhere in my house. I will not do IRL vlogs. Anything that I do that's information, they use to hurt me.
How about this? How about you don't put your information online? How about you just don't show it? Like, don't show your order with your address. Again, just because you assumed you got docs like over 10 years ago, there are people who are not actively looking will know where you live.
So
I don't know why I'm just getting so angry about this.
Worked my butt off tonight getting 2 Switch 2s, and now I have nothing.
Why in the hell? Why can't you be a normal person and get one? One Switch 2's fine. You're assuming the worst right out of the gate. Well, the first one bricked. Okay, well, guess what? The first one bricked. What did you do about it? Systems in short supply. The retailer's not going to be able to help you out on that because they're not going to be able to get a replacement for you, especially in a timely manner. Hey, contact Nintendo. Go straight to the source, because guess what? I'm pretty sure Nintendo's going to have a little bit of stock set aside just for that instance. Because Nintendo's going to have to cover their butts, or at least give you a time frame. Like, hey, we got a shipment coming in 4 weeks. We'll replace it with that one. Go ahead and send the old one back, and we will priority deliver this to you right out of the shipping crate.
Because these people screwed me.
Yeah. Wait, hold on. I think he said he was talking about hard work. Hold on. I'm gonna go back a little bit.
And now I have nothing because these people screwed me. Anything in my life. This is why I will not film anywhere in my house. I will not do IRL vlogs. Anything that I do that's information, they use to hurt me. So I worked my butt off tonight getting 2 Switch 2s, and now I have nothing because these people screwed me.
Yeah, that was hard work. I will tell you From what I went through, that was not hard work. I didn't work any muscles. I didn't start sweating. You just tap refresh or tap submit payment. That you're flipping a button. That's all you're doing. That's not hard work.
I don't even know how they got access to the account. I'm talking to the rep right now, which is the noise that you're hearing, bling, bling, bling. So here's the deal. Tomorrow, Level 1 podcast and the premiere of Claire Obscure Expedition 33, and we're doing DSP Tries at Chipotle on the first stream. The second stream will be Minecraft Chill, but I'm not getting a Switch 2. I have no means to do so. They're all sold out everywhere. I had them, and someone socially engineered my account and canceled my orders. If anyone has any means to get one, I'd appreciate it.
You didn't get one. Wow. Is it going to kill you to wait? If you okay, so if you was doing it for content, if you were a good enough content creator, you would have something else to divide. There's going to be more than enough new stuff from the other systems, PC, Switch, still the original Switch, for you to play and talk about. It's not going to kill you. Just you're just going to have to wait. And in the case with the Switch 2, for all we know, restocks will probably be really good. We don't know, because right now with the tariff stuff, I'm pretty sure during this 90-day grace period, Nintendo's probably going to be packing those shipping crates as much as they can and get all that and get as many out here as humanly possible before that 90 days is up. Because there's no telling what's going to happen in 90 days.
If anyone's getting an extra one that I could buy off of you for the real price, I'd appreciate it. But it looks like at this point, I can't cover the Switch 2 because these people are scumbags who break the law, impersonate me, and do awful things to me and my family. And this is just another example of that. Have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow.
So supposedly this guy has money problems, like he's declared bankruptcy and stuff like that. And I think there's a lot of questions. If you check out the Kino Casino from the last night, which was the 25th, which you can see them on Kick, which is Kino Casino Gaming. Oops, sorry about that. I hit the wrong thing. I still need to get my Stream Deck going. Trying to see if there was a tweet that actually had receipts. On that. Let's see if I can find it. But somebody, I don't think I can find it. But essentially what they did was, because he had the order number up, this person went to Walmart's website, customer service, to check on why the order was canceled. And they claimed, that basically that it was their uncle or grandfather or something, and they were just they kind of have dementia or something like that. And they kept asking for the email addresses, and it could be this at Gmail or this at Hotmail, and they're like, oh, we can't look this up or whatever, because they don't know what the email address that he used on that, which is, granted, that's yes. And some people will start digging. I ain't got time to do all that. That's too much kind of digging on that, and I don't see it on here. But they went in there, and essentially it confirmed that it was canceled. It was not canceled by anybody from the outside. It was canceled by Best Buy because they tried to buy multiple systems. So that was kind of debunked on that. But I do have another video. Now this one's almost 40 minutes long. I don't think we're going to do the whole thing. We'll do a little bit of it. But this was from the following day. And that's not representative of where he lives. Actually, you know what? You know what? I have got to take a break. I'm going to use the bathroom real quick, and then I'm going to come back, and then we'll do this, and then we will call it a night for the stream. But give me a minute or two, go use the bathroom. I will be right back. All right. Thank you for being so patient with me. All right. So we're back. And like I said, this was the day after. So let's see what the continuing adventures of DSP on the Switch 2 sounds like.
So anyway, last night, while we were doing the Lego stream building this guy, I went ahead and did my Switch 2 pre-orders, and basically what I should have done, quite frankly, if you want to know the truth, now I didn't think about it. I should have just said, guys, I'm going offline for 30 minutes. I'm going to go do my Switch pre-orders completely offline. This way, no one would know about them. No one can mess with them. Nothing. Now, a normal person would be like, why would I have to do that? That's not a big deal. You're just going to order your Switch. It's not a big deal. But me doing it immediately means that every mentally stunted, mentally challenged, mentally ill person on the internet comes after me and tries to figure out a way to ruin this for me. Okay? Because you might...
Okay, so yeah, that you don't have to broadcast everything you do. So yeah, that was actually a smart idea. You could have done that offline. And then when you came back, you could have said, hey, I got my Switch 2 pre-order in. But the problem is, if the same thing happened, I believe the same result would have happened because he tried to pre-order two Switches, two Switch 2s, and they would have still gotten canceled. And I'm pretty sure he would have still blamed the troll. Somehow they were able to get it in my account, but they didn't. How would they know? I didn't say anybody I was pre-ordering. Ugh.
I said, well, what's the big deal about Phil having a Switch 2? Well, to be honest, I'm not impressed with the launch lineup. Mario Kart World is the one game I'm really interested in. I also wanted to try out that demo game that you have to pay like $10 for to try the, technology out or whatever.
You're going to give them $10 for that demo game. You want to try that out. I'm going to give that. I want to try that. Out of everything, I don't think anybody's going to try that out other than reviewers. That's the only people I can see. I will be surprised if I see anybody on a stream actually shell out the $10 for that.
Whatever. But outside of that, no, not really, right? Like, you don't really have to. There's not much that's going to happen with the launch of Switch 2. But for me, as a creator, to be able to unbox it live on launch day, to hook it up, to test it, that is primo content.
Nah, I don't know. I've watched some unboxing videos before, and here's the thing about unboxing videos. They spend too much damn time on what's on the fucking box instead of what's inside the box. And they just take forever to get everything out. I just want to see it. I just want to, you know, take it out, take it all out, just look at it, hook it up, turn it on, whatever you need to do with it. That's what I'm here for. Especially if it's something you already know. The mystery ones, okay, but I'm all about, in some cases, get to the point. Just get to the point.
Day one views, day one inflated views, make the money. That's the kind of content people come to expect from me from over the years. I did it with PS5. I did it with PS4, Xbox One, right? I did it, you know, back in the day with the Wii U. I did eventually do it with the Switch. I did it with my first Switch, and the Switch bricked, and then I had a second one. And eventually I did do that with the Xbox Series X, although it was late to the game because I didn't get it right away, right? This is the good content people like. They want to see that stuff up front, especially if you couldn't get the pre-order. Gee, let's see what it's like on launch day, and let's get Phil's honest opinion on it, right?
I mean, I don't want to give his opinion on it. I mean, I probably want to see it. I mean, it'd be better to get my own opinion from it when I actually get it.
Right? So that's why I planned it out. I literally had created accounts on every single site. Best Buy, Target, Amazon, Walmart, had them all lined up, had everything ready to go. All the payment information was in there. The addresses were in there. So when these pre-orders went live, I could do it. And I did. I tried all of them. Best Buy crapped.
So he created accounts. So I am assuming that he has bought from these other sites before. I mean, most people have accounts to all the major retailers. Most people, not every people. So he said did he create secondary accounts? Try to get two systems? I mean, that's what I want to know, because he already said that. I think that's probably the plan from the get-go. He was trying to get two Switch 2s. And the greediness bit him in the ass. That's what it sounds like to me.
Out didn't work. Target, I had it in cart, wouldn't check out.
Well, then you weren't trying hard enough now, were you?
But Walmart, I got.
You didn't follow Jake's rules. You keep hidden, proceed to checkout.
Walmart was in the cart. Not only one, but the two different versions, the base Switch 2 and the Switch 2 bundle. So I'm thinking, wow, I can maybe have one for personal use here for the business, and one, maybe I could give it to my wife. Maybe I could give it away to a fan. I highly doubt it. It's a backup. Because remember, when I bought the Switch 1, it bricked within 24 hours, and I was stuck without a Switch for several months because of that.
And that's going to happen. Guess what? Here's the thing when it comes to technology. Nintendo is pushing the manufacturing like this on crazy. This goes with every launch. I had to deal with this, especially when I worked at AT&T with cell phones, especially the iPhones. They push so many of these things out. Like, they could be producing like 1 million a day. A bad one is going to get out. Several bad ones are going to get out. It's going to happen. Some of us consider ourselves lucky, and we've never had that situation. But sooner or later, it probably will happen. It's probably going to happen to me before you know it.
To have the backup is absolutely awesome, okay? That's a great thing. So it's like, not only did I get one, I lucked out and was able to get another one, all right? But my problem is very simple. I still, to this day, try to maintain a level of normalcy. So because I did this online, immediately my online stalkers decided to ruin it for me. And basically, here's what happened, okay? It went through, done deal. Payment was charged, everything good. So we went back to the stream, and I completed, as far as I could, this build. We hit the goal, so that's great. Now we hit 30 goals hit, which means we're doing the Chipotle DSP tries it today. All right? And then basically around 9:45-ish, all right, I logged off. I said, all right, I got to get going. Now, a few things actually happened that you guys aren't aware of. Number one, because I bought the two Switch 2s, One of them went to my bank account, and I tried to do it for the second one, and my bank account thought it was a fraudulent transaction and froze my account. So I had to contact the bank to get the account unfrozen. It was really stupid, okay?
Okay, so my question would be on this. So on a pre-order, and they tell you this when you pre-order it, the money is not pulled. It is placed on pending. And they don't collect the money until they ship the product out to you. So was the account actually frozen for that? Or was it saying pending and he just assumed that it was frozen? Because I've got mine, and mine is sitting on pending right now. So they're not going to collect it till it's released. Which I am okay with that. I already know, well, that's already there. I know it's going to be coming. And in the meantime, before that comes out, I will be able to put because when I look at it now, because I did it on my credit card, I look at it, and with what I've bought recently, I just look at it and like, ooh, that's a lot I got on that credit card right now. I mean, even for me, that's a lot. But I know when I make my payments before the system comes out, which will probably be paid I'll have three, because I like to pay them, like I like to pay my credit card every paycheck so I can get it paid off faster. And I send a pretty good amount each time. It's always the same. By the time it hits on there, the dent won't be so bad when I'm looking at it. You know what I mean? But I will tell you this, that'll be the last big thing I'll do on that card till next year. I'll tell you that. But I digress.
The other one, I went through a different payment method, all right? That's how I got both Switch 2s. So actually the orders were a little staggered. One checked out at one point and one checked out at another point via different payment methods.
So he's already right there. He's already trying to gank the system right there. You can already tell. He's using two different payment methods to cheat the system. But the problem is they base it off of your address. So it sounds like he was having them shipped to the same address. I bet you he put them both in the same cart, but he did a split payment. That's what he probably did, a split payment, but it was in the same cart, so it was going to the same address. Now I could be wrong on that. It could have been two different carts, but he put his address down. And this is a fella to me that looks like he doesn't know anybody to say, hey, so and so, can I use your address to put this in? But he probably would have ended up doxing that guy's address.
Okay? So as soon as the stream went offline, I had to sit and wait on hold, all right, for like 40 minutes with my bank to get the bank account unfrozen so that I could do other things and pay bills and things, okay? So as that's happening, I'm doing other things. I actually filmed the daily wrap, and the first daily wrap I filmed was like triumphant. Wow, what a great day. We had an amazing stream of Oblivion, and we hit my goals. We built the Lego, and we hit the goals. I got my Switch 2s pre-ordered. Amazing day. So I finished recording that, all right? And I was actually about to start like uploading while I was on hold with my bank. And all of a sudden, I get an email, and it says, you have successfully canceled your order. And I said, what? And I started reading the email from Walmart, and it says, congratulations, you have successfully canceled your Switch 2 pre-order. And I looked at it, and it was the first Switch 2, the one that was the base unit, not the bundle, but the first one that I had checked out and paid for. And I said, obviously, I did not do that. So the first thing I did is I logged in to my account, okay? The thing is, I have various ways to log into everything. I make sure that I'm not limited to only one way, all right? So I have all these backups, these, safeguards so that I can log into things multiple different avenues.
Explain that to me. How does that work? You have multiple ways of logging into things. The only thing that I can ascertain from that is he's got multiple email addresses to log into the site, which they would be multiple accounts. You log into your stuff the same way everybody else does. You got one email, you log in with a password, and then in some cases, if you have two-factor authentication, you do that. There's not multiple ways other than, you have an option for multiple ways of, depending on the site of how you log in. Like they send you a code on your phone, or they send you a code through your email, or you use the password, or you do your two-factor authentication, which in most cases is sending something to your phone or email to log in. But as far as if that's what he's talking about, that's not it. It almost sounds like the way he's doing it is he's using he's got multiple email addresses and multiple accounts.
So I logged into my Walmart account to find out.
See, and he's saying Walmart account singular. How does that make sense? Explain that to me. How does that make sense?
That someone had access to it. Okay? And I could tell because they changed the password on the account. Okay? In addition, they started messing with the account, meaning they were adding and removing things to my cart.
Did you get an email saying that somebody has changed your account? Because that's how I found out. Like when somebody got in my Netflix account, I got an email saying, hey, your password's been successfully changed. And I said, oh, hell no, it wasn't. No. Same thing when somebody got in my PlayStation account. I called Netflix. They fixed that like that. They fixed it immediately. PlayStation, I was on the phone with them for hours before somebody picked up. Again, if you have the chance to do two-factor authentication, do it. It is a lifesaver because these data breaches and leaks and all that, your email and login password will get out there. Because in order for them to change a password in that case, your two-factor authentication is going to be needed to get in there to do it. Or the email, that's another thing. Usually when you change the password, the email says, hey, you've requested an email password. Click this link to change your password.
So I'm thinking, how could this possibly have happened? All right.
It didn't.
And as I'm doing that, trying to figure it out, they canceled my second Switch 2 pre-order right in front of me.
Oh my God! What the fuck? Whoa! Whoa!
How does that work? They do that in front of you.
And I'm like, wow.
And I'm like, what the fuck? Are you fucking serious?
Well, this is pretty messed up. So, of course, I try to contact customer support, and I tried to get them on the phone, and I'm not even kidding. They hang up on you. You call and you get to the automated system, and you go through, and you say, okay, I want to talk to a rep because none of your automated options are going to help me here. And they say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you just said, and then the phone hangs up. And I tried it 3 different times in a row, and that's how they treat you on the line. They hang up on you at Walmart.
So it was the automated operator. So they hung up on you. Yeah, that sounds about right. I mean, if they don't get a proper response, they will hang up on you.
Do you see why I don't like
That's anybody
to do business with Walmart? And I've said this before. They're just a really bad company to deal with. So I ended up going to their chat service.
But yet you had luck getting that Switch 2 in the cart through them now, didn't you?
Okay. And going through their chat service, of course, you talk to someone at a customer service center on the other side of the planet, but they're doing their best to help you. So I start to explain the situation, all right? And, of course, they're utterly confused. They don't know if I'm contacting them to complain about the orders canceled. They don't know if I'm contacting them to find out how someone has access to my account. So they're, their head is spinning. And this is just someone in a call center who's trying to help me basically with a notebook or step-by-step.
Oh, by the way, with the thing that I was telling you about earlier about the person that went in just to ask if all of that was going on, they did ask. They did say in there that the uncle was worried about if anybody has gained access to the account that made any changes or anything like that. And the customer service person in the chat thread said there was no evidence of that happening. I really wish I could find that tweet with that information, but I'm sure it'll come up at some point. Somebody's probably have it up on a live stream or something. If you're interested in the further adventures of this guy.
Instruction fact on how to deal with customers, and they don't have any idea how they're supposed to help me. Okay, they don't. So basically, they had to go get their supervisor involved. And after a lengthy discussion, here's what we verified. Someone.
I would not be surprised that he was probably yelling and screaming, and he was not being clear on what he was asking. Now, granted, yes, you're probably talking to somebody overseas or something like that, but when people in some cases, when they're emotional and they're yelling and screaming, they are not coherent. That's why when you approach the situations, you got to be calm, cool, and collected. Like with my situation at the car dealership the other day, I was fuming, but I was calm and collected, but I did have a tone, but I was straight and to the point. I need to know what's going on with my car. I have been here for 6.5 hours. I just need to find out what's going on and how much longer it's going to be, because I am I've been told I have more patience than anybody that they have ever met. And, and I had a lot of patience there, but, sometimes your patience does run out. But I never try to get into yelling and screaming. I get more into a forceful tone.
Contacted Walmart, basically saying they were me. They had my name, my address, my phone number, my email, public information.
Wait, I want to hear that again.
Go get their supervisor involved.
All right, I want to hear this
again. And after a lengthy discussion, here's what we verified. Someone contacted Walmart, basically saying they were me. They had my name, my address, my phone number, my email, public information. Not that should be public information. It shouldn't, but it is, because people doxed me 10 years ago.
Again, according to that information that somebody got, none of that happened. They canceled the order because he ordered 2 of them.
Right? My address and phone number were doxed by trolls on the internet a long, long time ago, and it never should have been public information, but it.
And I don't doubt it that somebody, if they had the opportunity, they would do that, because from what my understanding is about him, people love to fuck with him. But I mean, come on. I mean, ain't nobody got time for that. Just so this guy doesn't get a Switch 2 on launch day. I mean, you get a temporary sense of accomplishment with that, but whatever.
It is. Okay? So, should Walmart have been able to grant access to a third party with that information? No. And I confirmed that. They absolutely should never have done that. It should have only been done via the methods that I have set up, including, like a text message code.
So here's my question on that too, because from what my experience is, how would they know that somebody gained access? How would they know? Because unless they're checking IPs, they wouldn't know. Because both the times that it has happened to me, once I described what was going on, they said, well, it sounds like somebody got into your account. So if they said that was a possibility that happened, I can get them saying that. But for them saying, no, somebody else got into your account, I don't know. I have to press F. I have to press F to doubt on that.
Or an email to
which I don't know if this will work. Let's see. I'm going to press F to doubt on that. Yeah, I don't know if you heard that or not, but we'll see.
a different unassociated email address with a confirmation code, or using a third-party app to have a specialty authenticity code, all these methods. But
in order for them to do that, they would have to have your phone to do that. Because I don't think spoofing phone numbers is a thing anymore, other than telemarketers will do it to bypass, to get through to fake a caller ID. But it still has to go to your phone.
someone who works at Walmart wasn't that smart and said, oh, I'll just believe you. And they sent the person through, I think it was like a chat, the authorization code, which
they don't know who the fuck you are. And plus, probably most of that stuff's automated anyway.
you're not supposed to do. So my account was socially engineered. Because when people say, what does social engineering mean? It means that despite the fact that you have things in place to stop unauthorized access, some moron does the wrong thing because they believe a lie.
But the sad fact is, there's morons who bought that.
Someone says they're someone else, and with very basic information tries to prove it, and an employee is just dumb enough to believe it and does something they're not supposed to do, granting access to that unauthorized party. So someone was sent a code that they were not supposed to be sent,
which would have gone to your phone, because that's what they'll usually do. Hey, I'm going to send you a code, and then I want you to read the code out to me. Or I'm going to send the phone, just go ahead and enter in the code, and that'll tell me on my end that we can proceed with this. It still goes to your phone.
Logged into my account. They canceled the 2 Switch 2 pre-orders. They changed the password on the account. And then they were in the process of adding things to cart because they were going to...
Did you get a notice saying that your password was changed? Or is that what you found that out through customer care? I'm not understanding this.
...to try to buy things that I didn't want to screw with my money.
So, wait. Let me go back a little bit here. Just go back a little bit here. Something's not adding up here.
There's morons who bought that.
Someone says they're someone else, and with very basic information tries to prove it, and an employee is just dumb enough to believe it and does something they're not supposed to do, granting access to that unauthorized party. So someone was sent a code that they were not supposed to be sent. They then logged into my account. They canceled the 2 Switch 2 pre-orders. They changed the password on the account. And then they were in the process of adding things to cart because they were going to try to buy things that I didn't want to screw with my money. So.
You got proof of that? Did you take a screenshot?
Basically, I got control of the account through the real methods that you're supposed to use.
Which were probably the only methods you're supposed to use.
I was able to change the password, and by setting up another level of authorization, it kicked them out. So
it sounds like to me you didn't have two-factor authorization on it. That's what it sounds like to
they don't have access
additional
anymore. They were literally
listening to him sometimes is just irritating.
Literally like removed, kicked out, timed out of their session on the account. And now I have access and ownership of the Walmart account again. Not that it makes any difference, because of course, once all of that happened, I said to the customer service, well, what do we do now? And they said, there's nothing we can do. Switch 2 sold out. You're out of luck. the best we can do is give you a credit on your account, which they did. They actually gave me a credit against my account. Like, what's the point of that? I'm not getting the Switch 2.
They're trying to appease you. That's what they're doing, and that's better than what most people would do.
So for your inconvenience, here's a credit to your account, and we'll let you know when the Switch 2 is back in stock so that you can order it. That's what they said. Oh, well, we'll put you on the list, and you'll get a notification from us when the Switch 2 comes back in stock. So let me get this straight. Someone at your company is a dumbass, and through completely illegal means, granted access to my personal account and information, even though they weren't supposed to. And the thing you're going to do for me is give me a few bucks. That's tough, man. That's very, very tough for sure. Wow, that sounds like a real way to treat the customer, doesn't it? But again,
this would have never started. This would never started if you hadn't have gotten greedy. Because it sounds pretty clear that he was trying to purposely get two systems.
I am the exception to the rule. I am the person who has this stuff happen. 99.9999999% of the populace, this would never happen. And by the way, for the record, this person was trying to do this.
You're not special, dude. It's stuff similar. People can get scammed and they get their accounts hacked into all the time. I mean, you're not special. I mean, you're not special at all. But, if you take the proper security steps, it lowers the percentage of this happening. And believe me, customer care workers are given, because I know this from where I'm working, they're given extensive training on fraud methods. Extensive, especially when it's with customer information, because there's a lot of laws typed in that as well. Because if that's the case, then they can get into some serious trouble. Serious trouble.
From the moment that I ordered the Switch 2s, which was around 9 p.m., till past 10 p.m. Like, it took them a while to find someone who was gullible enough to believe them and give them access to the account. They had been trying to do it for over an hour before they finally found the sucker who believed them. So probably they did this 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times and kept backing out and trying again until finally they found someone stupid enough. Okay? So here's the thing.
So if somebody's actually doing that, they've got way too much time on their hands to fuck with somebody.
This is the problem with having customer support on the other side of the planet with people who don't understand shit, sitting in a call center looking at a step-by-step instructional guide on how to help someone, because they don't understand that people can actually do malicious things and mess with people's livelihood. Like, for example, thank God I got into the account when I did and I changed everything. They could have been adding things to my Walmart cart and checking out and spending my money. Now I would have had to catch that and cancel all those orders before they ship, or else now I'm responsible for returning a whole bunch of shit that I didn't want to order, and I never authorized payment on.
Or, hey, how about this? Call your bank. There's some fraudulent charges on my card. I didn't make these. Okay, we will dispute these.
So I want you to think about how messed up this is, okay? Now, I am going to say something, and I've had enough of this shit, okay? Since last night, I announced that this had happened to me, okay? Every motherfucker on the planet is trying to blame me, all right? You showed an email. You showed an order number. You said it was Walmart. You said it was... Now, listen. Again, I will admit this. I should have just gone offline to do this. I never should have said I got it from Walmart. I never should have done any of that. I should have said, I'm going to pre-order, and I'll be back. And I should have just ran break stuff, break music and slides, instead of sitting here doing it and telling you guys the process, because I thought it was kind of exciting, and you guys were excited to see if I was going to get it or not, right?
We were excited that... We were excited that you were going to get a Switch 2. That's a very assumptive statement.
Right? So I thought it would be good content, and it was good content, quite frankly. People liked it who were on the stream. But God forbid that I make good content, right? Because I'm not allowed. If I do that, I'm at risk. And this is the point I keep making to you guys. This is why I can't go film in my house. I can't do IRL vlogging. I can't do any of that shit because that stuff is an actual risk. So the fact that I sat here saying, oh, I'm pre-ordering from Walmart. Oh, here's the confirmation email. That literally put me at risk because they could socially engineer the account. All right? Now, all the moronic shit that the tinfoil hat wearing idiots are saying, go fuck yourselves.
Go fuck yourself.
All right? No. Walmart didn't cancel my pre-orders.
Again, they did because you ordered 2 Switch 2s.
Because I ordered 2 Switches, and there's a 1 Switch per household policy. That never happened. No, 100% fucking false. It was outright canceled by someone who had access to my account. They were adding shit to my cart, and they changed my password, you dumb fucks.
Here's another thing, too. Maybe when your order went through, they again probably oversold their stock, and you missed yours by a millisecond. That's the other possibility. But I believe the first one. He ordered 2 Switch 2s. They caught on, and they canceled it. They canceled both of them because they're not putting up with these. They're trying to fight scalpers.
All right, you and your fucking insane, let's blame Phil in every situation. And even on top of that anyway, it's still a crime that was committed. Even if I told you I ordered from Walmart, it's still a fucking crime to impersonate someone's identity. It's called identity fraud, identity theft. It's a fucking federal crime.
Did you report it? If that was the case, did you report it? No, you didn't.
And this is like the 10th time it's happened to me. This happened to me with accounts years ago, and that's why I had to redo my entire fucking bank account and all of that shit. It happened with my utilities. Now it happens again. This social engineering and identity fraud is a huge fucking problem, and no one out there is equipped to handle it. None of these companies understand the level that people will go to fuck with someone just because they're mentally ill.
Wait, you're mentally ill? Is that what you're saying?
So they have no real safeguards against it. At any moment, any employee of any company could be a moron and grant access to all of your shit. Even if you have 1-factor, 2-factor, 3-factor, 7-factor authorization, you have apps that authorize, it doesn't matter. They say, oh, okay, I believe you. Here's a code. Go ahead. There's nothing you can do. So what I have to do moving forward, I know how insane this sounds. From now on, I literally have to not make anything public that involves anything like this. Bill's going to do a pre-order. All right, guys, I'll see you later. I'll be back. You know, that's just it. You know, there's nothing that I can do about it. It's insane. And again, oh, well, this is Phil's fault. How? How is it my fault exactly? Tell me how someone actually committing a crime is my fault. Oh, you showed an email. What's your fucking point, you incredible mouth drooler? You incredible brainless twit. So what if I showed an email? That doesn't give someone the right to impersonate me, say that they're me, fool a customer service rep into thinking they're me, to get access to my account, cancel orders, put things in my cart, and change my password. That's all illegal. You fucking moron.
You fucking idiot. Unreal, man.
He is married, so there could be a possibility that maybe his wife got into the account and was putting stuff in the cart to buy. There's a possibility with that too. I mean, he's already said in the video that he doesn't like using Walmart, but does she like using Walmart? You know, they could have a shared account. So maybe she was in there putting some stuff in the cart. There's a possibility there too.
So, what does this mean? How do I proceed? And what do we do? Okay? Well, first off, the pre-orders are all done. Just for the record, it's sold out everywhere. You couldn't even get Target to work. I had it in my cart at Target. It never worked. They just air it out endlessly and you could never buy it. Best Buy didn't work. They didn't launch at 9 p.m. like they were supposed to. They launched at like 9:20, 9:30. It aired out repeatedly and almost no one could get it from there either. Okay? I tried GameStop this morning. Their website wouldn't even work. I tried the app. Their app errored out. And by the time that it finally loaded again, it just said, oh, not available. So I can't buy it through official means. And the thing is, I want to. You have to understand something, all right? I wanted to buy the Switch 2. I had every intention of paying my own hard-earned money.
Wow. Whatever.
To get the Switch 2. These crazy criminals, these mentally stunted morons, are the reasons why I can't just do normal shit through normal means like everyone else. That's all I wanted to do was just buy a Switch so I could do it as a launch coverage like I am entitled to as a content creator. Like every other human who has money, I should have been able to do it.
Oh, you're entitled to do that. Oh, no. Entitled to do to cover this. Oh, I'm entitled.
But instead, I have to have federal crimes committed against me. All right? So, I don't know what else to say. It's fucked up. It's a fucked up situation. So, number one, I'm just going to tell you this. All right? I'm going to make this abundantly clear. No longer am I going to listen to or entertain any moron or idiot who says, Phil, you over-exaggerate. Phil, you make stuff up. Phil, you do this for sympathy. You do this because you want free shit. I don't want anyone to donate anything to me. Do you understand what I'm telling you? I wanted to buy the Switch 2 last night. That ability to just make an actual commercial transaction was taken away from me. I wasn't saying, hey, everyone, please buy me a Switch 2. Please donate a Switch 2. No, I wanted to buy it, and they wouldn't let me. Do you get it? How fucked up that is? I work hard. People support my content because they like it. I earn money that I should be able to spend on whatever I want. I shouldn't have to worry about pussyfooting around, being incredibly afraid that I say or do something that might jeopardize myself or my family's privacy, or have someone commit a federal crime to impersonate me to try to fuck with me and my livelihood. You get it? Like, that should never happen in any circumstance. It's not okay in any way, shape, or form, in any time or place. It's not right. So enough with your, oh, Phil deserves it. Phil showed the email. Phil said he bought it from Walmart. Phil ordered 2 Switches. You're fucking stupid.
Everybody else is to blame but him. That's what I'm hearing. Everybody else is to blame except for him. He tried to order 2 Switches when it was a 1 per household condition. So even you take that off of the table. He showed his order number and he showed his address, which him saying, I was already been doxxed 10 years ago. Again, there are probably some people who don't know where you live. Not everybody does. So you put it back out there again, and you showed your order number. You opened yourself wide open if that was the case. Other than that one guy who went and talked to their customer service, but he couldn't get the email. He didn't have the right email address, and they could say, well, could you at least just look it up by the order number? We just want to know if this was why. We just want to know why this was canceled. And they said it was canceled due to stock, which means they are policy. I don't know. I think it's one of those two things, but I know that Walmart canceled it because he got 2 Switches. And a lot of this communication with customer service thing a lot of this doesn't add up. It does not add up at all. Because if he had all the authentication that he claims that he would have had, he would have gotten like text messages or emails saying that, hey, changes are going to be made, or put in your code for having your changes made. I mean, I'll give you a personal example on this. I was heading to work one day, and then I got a notice for a sign-in request for a work application. And because every time we go to work, when we log into something, we have to approve we have to get a sign-in approval. And I get to work and I ask my assistant manager, I said, hey, did you try to log into my email by mistake? She goes, yep, sure did, because I clicked your name instead of mine by mistake. And I said, yep, because I got the authorization in. So, yep. So, yeah, I mean, you could go with the possibility if it was just he didn't had no extra authentication in there. Yeah, maybe somebody got in and changed the password somehow. But I don't know. It's just not adding up to me. It's just not adding up to me. But there's going to be an important detail to this whole thing that he has not mentioned yet. There's going to be an important detail. We'll let him go a little bit longer because I'm not doing this whole thing because this is already irritating me. I don't know why this is irritating me. It shouldn't. I could care less what goes on with this guy. I really do. It's just.
You're the dumbest motherfucker on the planet. Kiss my fucking hairy ass. Someone went out of their way to commit a federal crime to stop me from covering the launch of the Switch 2. And now it's time to fucking suffer. Because here's why you're going to suffer, you dumb fuck.
Oh,
you ready for this?
This will be good.
Why do you think I have been around for 17 years? Do you think it was chance? Do you think it was coincidence? Do you think that for some reason I just magically stayed? Ladies and gentlemen, the reason that I'm still here after 17 years is one fucking word. Begging.
Begging.
Perseverance. Get it? I don't give up. I don't fail or falter. I don't fall down on my knees crying, oh my God, it's all over. They got me. Instead, when people fuck with me, I use that as motivation to continue forward positively, to keep sticking to my guns, to keep doing what I know is the right thing to do. And that's why people still care about Darkside Phil in 2025. It's not because I sold out and became a shill like one half of the internet.
I'm not a sellout. I'm not a shill.
And it's not because I became a toxic bully who gets into drama and awful content like the other half of the internet. It's because I am a man alone standing on an island making content the way no one else dares to be different, to not hurt others, and to say no matter what you throw against me, you're not going to hurt me. I am the rock face upon which the waves crash, and I never fucking crumble. Get it?
No, I don't get it. I don't get it, but so eating food, building Lego sets, that's stuff that nobody else does. I mean, there are people that do all of that stuff and they are 10 times more entertaining for sure. This is just what I'm getting just from just listening to this right here. And from what I understand, most of this time that he's begging for donations and he's chastising the viewers because they don't pay him. They don't give him donations. All right, I'm gonna stop there because I can't do another 15 minutes of this. I can't do, and it's getting close to my bedtime anyway. But out of that entire tirade right there, what was one thing that he did not mention that he should have done? Because this would have saved a whole lot of issue instead of spending his time and energy going through all this mess with customer service, which if he felt he needed to do, hey, go knock yourself out. I still do not believe. I mean, well, based off of those texts, I still don't believe that. Let me. I'm gonna try one more before I go because this is really irritating because I don't have it in front of me. Let's see. because this really will bother me if I don't find this. And sometimes I'm terrible with searches because I have to, let's see if that'll pop that up if I did it that way. Sorry about the dead air, but I'm just looking and looking and looking. And I should have bookmarked it. Let me see if I bookmarked it. Did not bookmark it. Let me see if no. There we go. Let's try him. Maybe he's got something up. I mean, if I can't find it here. Oh, here we go. I got part of it right here, so here is some of the text that this person sent. Are you able to look up the order number to see the cancellation reason? They got the order number. Yes, I'll be checking for you that right away. Thank you, Sama. I guess is the name of the customer service agent. Sure thing. I think he used darksidephil@hotmail.com. It's a Gmail. Let me see if I'm pretty sure is it a Gmail. Let me ask him. Hold on. I can see that the cancellation reason is due to that you can only order one item in this category. So, according to this, the chat with Walmart, his order was canceled because he ordered more than one. He violated the one policy. He violated the one system policy rule. So he did that. So that's why his stuff got canceled. So he assumed he probably talked to somebody and he just jumped to conclusions that was what it was based on crap that happened to him in the past. And sometimes this stuff doesn't happen instantaneously. That's why I'm saying on my order from Target, I'm expecting any day now, oh, hey, we had to cancel your order. But shit, it's been like several days now. I don't think it's going to be happening. As opposed to him, I'm getting a Switch 2. But back to my earlier thoughts throughout that entire conversation, what was the one option? What was the one thing that he did not do? He did not do to try and get, if he wanted this system so bad, what did he not do? He mentioned that he went to part of it, but he didn't do the other part of it. He did not mention that he went to a GameStop store and pre-ordered it there. He didn't do that. He went to the GameStop website, which was having problems, and they did theirs later. But he didn't say, hey, guys, I got into my car. I went to GameStop. I waited in line. There was a lot of people, but I got there early enough to where I was able to get a Switch 2. And I'll have to go pick it up. I'll be able to get it picked up, which he probably would have sent his wife to go pick it up on launch day. I will have a launch Switch 2. I tried to get 2, but I could only do 1. We'll hopefully this one won't brick, and then we'll be good to go. And I'll buy another one at a later date if he wanted to get a second one, like for his wife or whatever, which he probably wouldn't have done. That's just my guess there. He didn't do that, but I can already tell just by his paranoia right there, he would have probably assumed that there was probably he'll get recognized in line, which I sincerely doubt. If he was that worried, you put on a hat and a pair of sunglasses and you wear a coat and you put up your collar. Or better yet, even though I think at this point it is pointless to wear one, he could have put a mask on. Because there's still some people out there that still wear masks out in public. He could have done all that, or maybe he was scared that the person at the register would recognize him and like, yeah, I'm not gonna pre-order you a Switch. I'm not gonna do it. Because if it were me and I was the manager standing right there, I'm like, the fuck you're not. You're gonna take his damn pre-order. I don't give a damn who he is. Oh, you're not gonna do it? Take your ass to the back. I'll do it. And you can come out when he leaves. Because I ain't turning away money. I don't care who you are. Unless you've like threatened an employee. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I'll take your money. No matter what you look like or who you are, your money is just as green as everybody else's. But he didn't do that. He wasted a lot of time going through that bitching crap and trying to do it through a website. He could have went to a GameStop. I wasn't even planning on getting the damn thing, and I was willing to go to the GameStop here in town. I just wanted to see how fast they sold out. That was my goal, and I wanted to see if they still had any left over with it after the hour. Because with that many, more than likely, they did have a few left over after the fact. But nope. He's going to whine and complain about that. He's going to whine and complain about that. Oh, man. I covered way too much just on DSP on that thing. And all I was going to talk about was the mess on the pre-orders and how it went for a lot of people. But that was just the kind of, I don't know what I was doing with that. It's just, I just wanted to cover that with his mishaps with it. And I think I just went a little too far on that. And it ended up, 3-hour stream. And the most of it was covering DSP for whatever. I don't know what the hell I was thinking, but hey, I'm pretty sure somebody's going to get some entertainment out of that. In this work in progress live streams that I'm doing. But again, I still want to watch the documentary on him to get, to kind of open it up to the people that don't know too much about him, because I don't really know too much about him. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and wrap it up right there. So, I appreciate anybody that's even giving me a little bit of your time. I thank you very much, and I appreciate you kind of dealing with with all my negatives, all of my negatives, and all of this. But as far as what is next going on, just keep an eye on my socials, which would be Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. It's all Nash Thunderclap. For when I will be online at some point. This is still a work in progress. I will try to get some kind of schedule going to where I'm doing this on a regular basis instead of just popping up randomly. On that, if you are watching, do me a favor, like and subscribe. That will help me out with this algorithm. You can follow me on Kick, and you can subscribe to me on Twitch, where I will do my gameplay videos. Tomorrow will be the 28th. I will be on Twitch and Kick live with Black Myth Wukong, the Sunday thing. And then Monday, I will be back on there with the next installment of Super Mario Galaxy. Then I'll have the rest up on the socials on what I'll be doing for the rest of the week. And then I will be live streaming on here just whenever I can do it. But, yeah. So, until next time, everybody. And again, thank you for joining in. I really do appreciate it one way or another. So, until next time, everybody, you have a great night. Take it easy, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now. We're going to try that one more time. So bye for now.